Hey FR fam, it's Tasha Rivers, aka Flowing Rivers, and welcome to Flowing in the Kitchen. Today, I am going to be making my mega mixed greens, but first, I wanted to pour me some wine because it's nothing like sipping and cooking. Now, cheers. So now we got the collard greens, your kale greens, and your mustard greens, okay? After you have all your ingredients, all your greens, you take them, you put them in the sink, soak them in the lukewarm water or cool water, and with the apple cider vinegar, take your stems off, remove these stems, make sure you remove the stems from all of your greens. Before I begin, I like to make sure my sink is fully sterilized with some bleach and some dishwashing liquid, whatever you like to clean with. But make sure it is sterilized and properly rinsed out. Afterwards, I rinse all my sterilizations out, stock up my sink, add cool water, apple cider vinegar, and then all my mixed greens. Don't forget to also make sure that your water is at a really high height. Make sure the greens are well immersed into that water. And I also like to swish them around too. The water is going to help with getting all that dirt, and also the apple cider vinegar helps sterilize and clean your greens. And it also helps remove the dirt from off the greens. So all the dirt is going to end up being at the bottom of your sink. So when you remove those greens, some people rinse them twice, 3 times. I clean them 1 to 2 times, depending on how bad my water looks at the bottom once I cut up my greens. So we're going to pull off the stems. We're totally removing my stems. I don't like stems, and it's stemless. So how I do that, I'm taking my thumb and pointer finger, putting them here, taking this stem and pulling up and pushing down on the leaf. Pulling up on the stem, down on the leaf. And once you get a rhythm, it'll go so fast. This is the back of the leaf. This is the front. We're going to the back of the leaf. Pushing down with your thumb and pointer finger on the leaf. Pushing up with the other hand on the stem, on the back side of the leaf. Okay, so it's a different little process for kale, which is much quicker. You can just take your fingers and pull them off, just off the stem, just like that. Take the other hand and pull, just pull, okay? Pull them off. There you go, just like that. You will get used to that. Once I get all the stems off of this pile here, I'll start cutting them up, and you will see how I cut them. So these are sweet Vidalian onions. And since I'm doing about 6 pounds of greens, and this is going to be mixed greens, and that's mixed with collard greens, kale, and mustard. It's 3 pounds of collard, 2 pounds of kale, and 1 pound of mustard greens. And I mix them all together, and it's just like a really good blend. I don't do just collard greens. I love to mix my greens. Just give it a nice mixture of textures and flavors. So I'm going to cut my ends. And you know what? I know a few people mentioned already about my first video, mind you, okay? It's a learning process, okay? We're getting there. I know a lot of people don't know how to hold their knives. That'll be another video when we talk about how to hold your knives. Now this show, or this segment of my YouTube channel, is to assist people on different recipes and ideas on how to cook, right? And actually, I don't want a julienne these. I actually want these in, I want these. Now, everything is for preference. It doesn't matter how you cut an onion. You still want to get your onion flavor. My preference is when I'm doing my greens to have them in like chunks, okay? Because I want you to be able to get nice, you know, these onions and peppers, they're going to shrink. So I don't normally do it the way I just did it, like this thin. I do it this way, which is maybe about 4 to 3 big chunks. That's 4, depending on the size of the onion. And I'll cut them this way, and they'll be in 4 parts like this, okay? 4 parts. And then I'll take it and then I'll cut them across. And I got a nice chunk like that. That's how I normally like my onions for my greens, okay? And my peppers are like that same size pretty much, because they're going to shrink. They will shrink. So I'm cutting 2 sweet Vidalia onions. Say for my red peppers, I'm going to just slice it in half. I'm going to remove my seed, and all I do is pinch this out with my thumb and pull out, and that's it. Pull this little stem out there a little bit. You don't have to. I mean, you don't remove all the seeds, nothing's going to happen. So pull that little piece out. That's how I do it. It's different ways to do things, and that's just how I do it. So with the same as here, I'm just going to slice across this way, and then I want to slice in 3s because it's not that big of a pepper. And I got chunks, nice chunks of red pepper. So those are my onions and peppers for my greens. So now I have my smoked turkey tails. I'm going to just cut them like in half if I can. Sometimes it's a little rough, so it's easier when they're hot. So I'm just going to basically cut them in half just to open up the flavor. Cut them in a couple other pieces if you can. If you got some fatty pieces or some meaty pieces, you can break it down. It's going to break down more. The more tender and the longer it cooks, the more tender it's going to get. And then you're going to have them nice holes and pieces of smoked meat throughout the whole pot of collard greens, or mixed greens, should I say. So now I have these pieces. I have these portions, the smoked turkey tail portions. I have my onions and peppers, and I want to take them to this pot with some olive oil and saute them babies up. Adding some olive oil, some EVOO to the pan, letting it get a little hot. So once you let this get nice and hot, your oil, olive oil, you add your onions and your red peppers and also your smoked turkey. I'm just letting it get a little brown, just browning everything up. Sauteing it a little bit, let that get nice and brown. It takes about a good 10 to 15 minutes to get a nice color on these veggies and on your meat. So while that's sauteing for the 10 to 15 minutes on a medium to high heat, I'm going to start cutting up my greens. I just put them together. Take a few of my collards, stack them up, almost stack them together. A bunch of them, it don't have to be equal in size or anything like that. Take a few of the kale, put them in there, and I make like a wrap out of them. Make a wrap. So I take it and I roll them together. So roll them, and then I fold them again, almost like a burrito. Okay, almost like a burrito. And then I slice all the way across, slice them again this way. And it's like random chops, really. If you want to put them in a food processor, go ahead, make my day. I've been doing this by hand for many, many years. Take them, a bunch of them, and put them in a pot. I got multiple pots in here that I'm going to just put them in. And I'm just going to repeat this step over and over and over again until they disappear. And when they disappear, we want to check our water. See how much dirt, if any, is down there, which is not none. That's still good. but I still do another rinse once I chop them up. See some little discoloration on any, just pull it off and throw it out. I'm gonna check on my sauteed meat and veggies and doing a little stir. Trying to gain some color there. 5 more minutes, I think we'll be good. Oh yeah, nice color, nice color. So now I am just going to add my water, adding about a tea kettle worth of water. And what am I doing? I'm making a broth. I'm making a broth. Look at that color. So this is going to cook until I'm done cutting up my greens. Now, if it's still like the water start going down a little low, I'll just add more water. Yeah, it looks good, y'all. That's going to do what it's going to do. So now that they're all cut up inside these pots, which look nothing like what all those greens was looking like at first, this is my aftermath of letting them soak. And this is actually a second round of water from my other batch. And you can see the particles in here. You can see the dirt down in there. I think I saw a bug somewhere. Yeah, it's a bug in there. You know, so this is why it's important, very important, that you clean and soak those greens. I'm gonna let this water out, let that go down, turn on my garbage disposal. Now I'm just going to, at this point, take my cut up greens that's been cleaned through once with apple cider vinegar. Now I'm about to clean them again after they got cut. They'll float even better now that they gotten cut. Filling this up again with cool water. And I'm letting that fill. So now I'm going to start adding my cut up greens to the water. And this is going to get one more round of rinsing. One more round. And it should be good to go. Letting the water fill all the way up. You see, I got all of these babies cut up. These are going to end up going pretty much right in the pot from here. So here I have 1/3 cup of chicken bouillon, and I'm putting that in my broth that's there, and I'm just going to mix that up. Give it a little extra flavor. And as you see, that reduced down a lot. I don't like to have a lot of liquid. The greens will make its own juices, okay? So enough water or your broth, that's just enough. So now that it has its second rinse, I'm now just going to add them back to the pot, bottom of the sink. My good rinse, shake them down and add them back to my pot. Now we have this one pot full. I'm just going to start adding my nicely cleaned second round of greens and straight in the pot. Now I'm adding my seasoning. And you season this to your liking. Here I got about a 1/4 cup of salt. Approximately a 1/4 cup of salt. I have onion powder. That's about a 1/4 cup. About another 1/4 cup garlic powder and a few shakes. That's probably about a tablespoon of crushed red peppers. And then about 2 tablespoons of black pepper. Also, although I have smoked meat in there, I'm adding some smoked paprika. Doing about a good 2 tablespoons of that. Now, I'm gonna just mix it up. Mix these ingredients in. I'm gonna flip it up. And I'm going to go and start adding my rest of my greens to the other pot that's still in the water. By the time I come back, These greens are probably gonna be done disappeared. I'm gonna lid this while I go. And look at that. That almost wilted down all the way already. And I know it looked like it wasn't no liquid in there either. Now it looks like it's a lot of liquid. Here's my rest of my pot going in. Look how high that is. That's the rest of this one pot. And this is mainly the kale and collards. And my rest is going to be the mustard and the rest of the kale. I'm again adding more salt. And I would say that's probably a good 2 tablespoons. And this is probably going to be another tablespoon. And a little bit more of everything. And I'll just use my, because I'm not using much more pepper. It's probably a good half a tablespoon of pepper. And I'm going to stir this in. I'm not going to, just going to stir it in the top. What's going to happen when I come back again, these greens going to be low again. And so here we go. They're going to lid. I'm going back to the sink to repeat those steps. As you can see, these greens have wilted. Oh my gosh, look at that. These have wilted down to like a quarter of the pot, and it was just almost to the top. So as you see, they really almost disappear on you. Pushing them down, 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 down. Pushing them down so I can add the other ones that's gonna wilt and disappear. So as you see, this is about to like almost overflow. I can't even pour this in because it's going to overflow. However, it'll wilt down in a good 5 minutes and I can stir in the rest. All right, we made it. We are done, finally. We got all those greens in, baby. All of them. So I'm gonna let these wilt down for about 15 minutes. And I'll come back to them, and I'm more than likely going to have to add more seasonings, but we'll see how much more once we get them to boil down. We're going to open this baby up, and you see them greens there? Watch this. I'm going to turn them, and they starting to cook already, and look how far down it's going. Look at that. Look at all those juices in there now. I told you those greens make their own juice. So wilted. I'm just stirring these up, like getting the bottoms to the top, getting the top to the bottom. As you see that the bottom is cooking. The meat's breaking down. Yeah, that thing is doing its thing. Look at that. And see what's done and what's not done. This was at the top, and these were at the bottom. See the difference there? They were cooking. So it's very important to get all the way at the bottom of that pot. And bring those ones that been down there up. And the ones that was up, get them down. Once you get that rotation in order, you just let them go. Let them go. And these are going to cook probably for a good, because it's a lot of greens. This is a lot. This is going to be a good 4 pans of greens. Okay. And then I'm going to let it do what it's do, because you can't tell how much more seasoning you have until those greens really cook. So I'm adding a little bit more pepper. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit more everything at this point. More pepper, more garlic powder, and that's probably about another 3 to 4 tablespoons, and another 3 to 4 tablespoons of onion powder. I'm not gonna do any more crushed red pepper because that's going to probably make it too spicy, and I'm not going to add any more salt yet because remember I added the chicken bouillon that also has salt in it. So I'm going to wait until this actually cooks down some more to see how much more salt I need, because I don't want them to be salty. I want them to be flavorful, not salty. So we got everything mixed in. The party is going, so I'm gonna let that cook. And it's gonna cook now for about, I'm gonna come check on it in about 25 minutes. We're checking our greens and they're pretty much almost, they're cooked down to where they need to be. However, they're not tender enough. But this right here is, they're not gonna wilt down anymore. They'll cook. They'll get more tender. This is the point where you wanna taste and see if it's seasoned enough for you. So I'm gonna take my spoon and I'm going to get some of the juices. I'm going to get one of the collard greens to see where the tenderness is of it. But I'm going to use a spoon because that's where I really need to see where my salt level is. And the taste for you is basically your preference. If it's salty enough, peppery enough, if it's got enough kick, as far as the hot pepper seeds. This is where you do your adjustments, if any. Wow. That's good. Them green juices is bumping, baby. We just want to let this cook down. I'm going to add a little bit more of the chicken bouillon powder. Maybe about a tablespoon. I definitely want more black pepper. A tablespoon of salt. And that should be good for me. I'm going to mix this up. And this is now, again, going to cook for another, I say, this is going to be done in about 25 minutes. Mixing those spices up that I just put in there. I'm not even going to taste it yet because it needs to cook. And you want to rotate, want to do another good rotation of your greens. Always want to rotate them. Get the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. See how the meat is so tender now? It's just breaking up in your greens. That's how you know them greens are tender too, because everything is, you're gonna be flavorful. Everything is cooking up in there. Everything's mixed up and off it goes for another 20 minutes to 25 minutes and they'll be done. Woo, now this looks delicious. It's all done. Look at that there. Meat all through there. You see our peppers, our onions. We just got our little side dish bowl. And we just want to scoop that baby in there. Yes, yes, yes. Get me a little juice in there. I like some of my green juice. Some people don't, I do. So here we are, FR fam. After an hour later, we got this delicious mixed greens, baby. Let's give it a try. And a little bit of that meat on this fork. Okay. This is slap your mama good. Now this is just a side dish. This is a small dish, and this is something you might want to make almost as your main meal. It's good, baby. It's good. Now these are greens. It's delicious. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until our next meal we cook together, I will see you then. Love, laugh, eat, repeat.